Hi, I'm just going to show you how to connect a Hive Combi boiler only to the Glow Worm Ultracom 35 CXI, Charlie X-Ray India. And here is the combi boiler with the cover off. It's going to be a little bit stop-starty this video because I'm going to have to keep turning it off because I've got nobody to hold the video for me. So what I've done at the moment is I've taken the cover off. I've got the Hive receiver here ready to connect. The power to the boiler is here, which I've cut off at the moment. And that's the other end, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a supply from that into the receiver, and then the cable will be reconnected to go back into the boiler, and then cables from the receiver into the on-off of the combi boiler. Catch you in a minute. Now, one quick tip for when you are doing work like this, and it is invaluable, is when you're working on wiring, what I always do is take a photograph of the wiring before I touch anything, so that when you come to fault diagnosis or you can't get something to work, if push comes to shove, you can always just put the old wiring back in because you've got a photograph of how it goes. So just a quick tip there. Another quick tip actually, when you're taking the receiver to pieces, the two screws that hold the back plate on have little nuts inside that aren't fixed, so make sure you're not doing this over something where the nuts could drop into and you can't find them again. So always handy to do it over a table or something. So all I've done here, and forget the wiring because the wiring will have to be pegged to the wall, that pipe isn't fixed. So I've just taken the wire and I've split the wire into the boiler, so I can now run a live feed to the actual receiver from the Hive. And now what I need to do is run cables from the on and off for the Hive into the boiler, which will be the next step. Okay, so what I've done here, without putting the actual receiver on, I've just checked that the wiring works okay. Again, excuse the state of the cables, this is purely for testing that it works. What I'll do is I'll reroute those cables once I know everything's okay. So I've just run the power through. I've got power to the receiver without the receiver on. I've got power to the boiler, and the boiler is actually on. But obviously now it won't work because I've disconnected the remote. So I'm now going to go and get the receiver for the Hive, switch that on and make sure that works. Okay, so I've jumped forward a little bit now because the cable's actually in, and I'll show you how it was. So originally this little thing, this bridge, was in the RT24V slot, bridging those across. There is another one underneath which stays where it is. And what you need to do is take the cables 1 and 3, forget the colouring, I've just used what cable I had, so I've actually used 3-core cable and taken the earth wire out. But obviously these go to 1 and 3 inside the receiver. So just going back to this thing, this was the original controller, which is now defunct, no longer needed. And that simply operated this thing up here on the top. So that's the old controller, which I no longer need, but I'll leave it there anyway. So that's how the wiring should look when you're finished. Obviously, if you had one of those, the Hive now takes over from that. Excuse the wiring, but we're actually having a new kitchen put in, so I've just put it on temporarily until I know where the kitchen is going to be fitted. And that's pretty much it. If you've wired it correctly, and again this is a combi boiler only one, which is the one in the red box, not the blue box as they sell them, because they do sell two different types. I did originally get the wrong one because I wasn't aware there was two. If you press this button, when you've got these lights on, that will actually go green and the boiler will start up. I've already tried that. I don't need to try it again, I know it works. And then you need to set up your Hive on your mobile phone. So I sat for quite a while thinking it wasn't working, and then realised you actually have to control it from either your PC with a relevant browser or from your mobile phone. So you can download the app from Play Store. Hope this helps.